Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to draw the Machimosaurus, which was a huge crocodile they found, and I am not sure how long or how big it was. Um, I know, for example, that a human being would be just about a little bit longer than his hind leg, so that's how big it actually is. And this is a this is a really quick sketch, and I used my markers to kind of get a little bit of color in, and I'm just trying to get better at coloring, and I'm learning as I go along, so it doesn't really look very good or anything, but this is the pose that we're gonna try to draw it in. And yeah, I wanted to show you guys something else. So this is from the uh, this is the Spider-Man from the new Spider-Man movie, kind of a cartoonish Spider-Man movie, and it's not perfect. But if I consider that the last time that I drew something like a superhero or Spider-Man, that would have been like 12 or 15 years ago. So I drew all of this from my head, and I am pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not uh, as good as like my recent dinosaur drawings, but the color and everything, I do like it a little bit. So yeah. All right. Oh, and by the way, this video was requested by Lin Yuan. I am really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but like I said, a lot of names on YouTube are really hard to pronounce. So yeah. Okay, let's get my reference photo ready. Okay, so for this drawing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with the area where his head would be located, and I want his head to be about in the middle of the page. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start drawing a circle like this, and that would be one of his eyebrows, and then we're just gonna draw a line. It goes like this, and then another oval shape at the end of this line, and then for his bottom jaw we're gonna do the same thing, just draw a straight line here. His bottom jaw is open, so, and then we wanna get the shape in for his upper jaw. And it also looks a lot like the Sarcosuchus, but I believe that the Sarcosuchus would have been much larger and everything. And this well, it's not a dinosaur, it's a crocodile. And then his lower jaw is very narrow, kind of like this, and let's make it stop about there. Like I said, very narrow, and then over here it gets very big again. And the reason why it's slightly angled like this is because here will be the eyebrow of the other side of his head, and the other eyebrow would be about over there. And then we have one straight line that goes like this, and it goes like that. And we can draw in the kind of membrane of his jaw right there, and then another one right here, and we can kind of see the other side of his lower jaw just for a little bit, kind of disappears over there. And maybe this should be a little bit thicker. There would be a bit of shadow over there. Alright. And then, well, this actually goes more straight like this, so I'm gonna erase that bottom area. It actually goes more straight, and then it kind of connects to over there. And then we have a neck area like this, and a neck area like this. So this is more like something more like a stretchable skin thing underneath his jaw, so that he can, I guess, take bigger bites when he's trying to eat. So in my opinion, I really find it amazing how crocodiles have such a strong bite, while it's only shown like they have very narrow, thin jaws. I really find that fascinating. Alright, so now we want to build up the basic animal. So this is going to be the shoulder for his front limb. Then we want to kind of build a spine up from over here, and it kind of goes like this. Then it kind of goes like this, and it extends even farther than his upper jaw, and about over there would be the end of his tail. Alright, so that's gonna be his spine. Now we want to build up the rest. So this is gonna be pretty hard, so I'm gonna kind of build it up in a couple of sections. Like this is his upper area, his upper body, and then this will be kind of his middle section. Let's call it his middle section. But we can't really see too much of it because we have a line that goes like this over top of him, and on top of this line will be the armored plating, and over here would be his hip, all the way over here, and we can't really see too much of this the other hip. And we could see like the elbow of one of his front limbs, and then this one kind of goes like this. It kind of extends out until over there. And then it goes down like this. My dog is finding a spot to lay down, so I'm sorry for the noises at the background. And then we can just kind of draw something like this. So this is going to be his hand later on. But I do want to have a little bit more of his body visible over there. So later on I'll just go over it with a darker pen. Alright, and then we have a line that goes like this. So this is a very big and strong animal, and these lines kind of meet each other over here. Then we have his hind leg. It kind of starts about over here. So his knee would be about there, this area. And then his the lower part of it just goes down behind his head. So you won't really be able to see much of it. And I'm gonna make this go on just a tiny little bit more. So we kind of still have a crocodile type tail. And maybe, no, I'm not gonna make the other leg visible over there. I'm just gonna keep it this way. And now we need to think about where do I want my light source to come from. Wait a second, let's first just focus on the little fingers over here. Not too much detail in it. All right. Let's just draw the eye in first. Just a very big rounded eye with a very dark pupil right in the middle. Like that. So we have the basic of this this animal on the paper. So now I wanna go over it with a darker pencil. So I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and I didn't do a couple of lines because there is supposed to be a little bit more detail on them, and I'm gonna draw that in real quick. So first we're gonna go onto his teeth. So he has a set of very sharp, narrow teeth on his lower jaw. Really sharp. And they kind of stay at about the same size. Like that. And then he has a couple of them on the other side of his jaw as well. So both sides. Like that. And then on the top, I mean his upper jaw, it kind of starts about, let's see, over here. And I might have made his head a little bit too long, but I guess it's okay. And about over here they start getting bigger, and then they get a little bit smaller again at this area. And at this area it's just a couple of very small teeth and then a couple of very large ones, like that. So that's basically what it's gonna be. And I think you can see one nostril over here, maybe the second one about over there, but you can't really see it too. No, you can't see it, so don't draw the second one in. So yeah, now we have to move on to the armory plates on his body, and I think I'm gonna erase it at this part because no, I'm not gonna erase it, but this is supposed to be a little bit more, a little bit farther apart, and then over here it gets a little bit closer to each other again. Alright, so over here you want to start drawing in some shapes like this. And they start very small at first, but once you go along, they will start getting bigger and bigger. And they get a little bit smaller at this area, and then they get huge over here. And they kind of meet up at the middle, at that area. So you want to do the same thing at this area, but there aren't a lot of them visible because they're a little bit more behind the rest of his body, and at this area they will start getting more and more visible. And then they get really big until over there, and they keep on going till the end of his tail, and that's basically a crocodile tail. Alright, now we want to have a line, a center line in the middle. It goes all the way through this, and it's exactly in the middle at this area, but a little bit more closer to the upper line at this area because of the way that we're looking at it, the way that it's in perspective. Alright, now he also has a couple of them over here, but first we want to draw a couple of lines like this. Make sure they aren't straight. So this is basically the armor platings. And over here you can just draw them in like this because there isn't a lot of detail at that area anymore. Alright, so now it is time to go into a little bit, just a tiny little bit more detail. And what I mean is, for example, the tail looks very pale, so just drawing a couple of lines like this, but don't do it too dark yet. Just a couple of lines like this, and these will be kind of the scaly armored types, and we have a couple of scales on top of them, just in a row. We have like 3 of those rows, and the last one would be over there, and the same goes for this area over here. Couple of dark scales and a couple of them over here as well. Alright, and then at his leg area, the shape of those lines kind of change a bit. We have a couple of wrinkles and everything, but I'm not gonna pay too much attention to those wrinkles yet, because it's not important right now. We do want to pay a little bit attention to this area, because we want to have the same kind of scales kind of going on. But pay attention to where you place those scales right now, because it is kind of in a curve. So that's basically what it's gonna be right now. And we have those lines over here as well, those scales, and again they kind of change shape. So now and then, once you come along the arms and the roundness of his body, and then you just draw in those big scales again, and make sure you draw in 3 rows of them. I mean, for example, we already did 3 rows over here, so you can't just go with 5 rows over here, because that won't look anything but good. And then the last row would be over there. Maybe we can even go on a little bit. And a little bit of detail over there as well. So the last row would be over here, going kind of like this. Alright. So now we want to have a little bit of detail on his arms and legs as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. Also draw in a couple of those lines, so we can later put in a couple of scales. Well, we can go over it and it will kind of look like those scales that we already drew everywhere. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Not paying too much attention to the way that we do it. I mean, to detail. I'm not trying to exaggerate with the detail compared to the rest of the drawing, because although it looks pretty detailed, it actually isn't. So for this area we have the same thing. Just a couple of lines like that, and over here as well. Just draw in those scaly lines. And then you just draw in a couple of lines to give it those scaly effects. And maybe also a couple of them around his eye area. Not paying too much attention to the way that I'm drawing those scales, because it's not really too important. It's just that I don't want to have more detail at this area than there is at the other areas around. just drawing a couple of areas where there could be a little bit of a shading effect. All right. Basically, I do want to make this line a little bit darker. And I want to connect all these little spiky scales as well. Alright, now for his bottom jaw area, basically going with a more dinosaur drawing style that I use a lot. I kind of get a little bit of shading that area, and I can of course always put in a couple of those scales everywhere. Doesn't really matter where you put them, as long as you don't overdo it, it's alright. Okay, and basically we can darken this whole area in over here. And then I would say that the first part of this video is about done, and maybe I will make a second part in which I will add a little bit more detail and add a little bit of shading, which is gonna be pretty hard at the point that we are at, because I already drew in a lot of detail. Well, not a lot of detail, but yeah, well, it is actually a little bit of detail, so it's gonna be a little bit harder than normally. But I think for 28 minutes this is a pretty decent and okay drawing, and it's up to you if you want to follow the next part, where I will show you guys how to add the shading in this drawing. So if you liked the video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the video and the drawing in general, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a single video. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.